Hello and welcome to this video about patterns. So patterns are sort of useful if you need something, repeated in the background or whatever. So we'll learn how to make our own custom pattern. There are a bunch of patterns that are available in Illustrator to begin with, and I think you can get more from Adobe as well. So what we're going to do is if we open up this one, we have already got a pattern. It's going to be our M, and we're going to rotate it and then use this sort of as our base pattern. And then as you can sort of see, we've got them lining up so that we can put them in the background. In this case, it might be a little bit too strong, but we can always reduce the opacity or change the color. And so the idea is we'd have something like that, and then you'd be able to use them. All right, so let's go ahead and see how this works here. So like I said, that file you'll open up, you'll get that. I'm going to duplicate and inverse this. So I think I'll group it first. So just group that. Hold Alt down. That will allow me to bring it over. And then probably the easiest way is transform, probably rotate, I guess. And I think I'd want to rotate it 180. I guess I could have made a copy of it originally, but whatever. So there's the two. I think I'll make it a bit smaller. So I'm holding Shift and just making those small, because usually you'd want a nice small pattern there. Okay, so what we want to do next is open up Window, and we should be able to find a Patterns window there. So Pattern Options is the one that we'll go for. And so we've got these here. Now at the moment it doesn't look like anything is happening, but we need to click on these three little lines, right? And then we need to choose Make Pattern. So it is a bit counterintuitive. You would think you'd open this up and you'd be able to click Make Pattern, but no, it's hidden here. So you click on Make Pattern, and it says that this new pattern has been added to the swatches panel. So somewhere in there, I think that's it there, that is our new thing. So just say OK. And so there we've got that. Now, if I zoom out, you can kind of see what's gone on. We've made it into a grid pattern, and you can give it a name. The M's, I guess, whatever. And you can see you can lay out this grid. You can sort of lay it sort of slightly different, right? So that just these different sort of styles of them, depending on what you're wanting to do there. By default, it's a 5 by 5, okay? And you can see you can dim the copies. So I guess we can make it sort of like that. That's just sort of, these are the original ones, right? And so those are all the copies. So you could modify these. I think if I do that, oops, it won't work out too well. Just a second. I guess it was moving down because that, let me go into this. I'm not going to permanently keep this, but if I did, there we go. So then you can see all the other ones have had that happen to them. So it's just, those are just dimming the copies there. What else is there to say here? So we've got this pattern. And yeah, so you can change the tile type, like I was saying, play with the overlap as well on this. So tile type we did, there's some out of overlap, there it is. So you can bring closer together, so there's a bit more overlap. You can bring it down on that one as well. So depending on what you want. I thought I could change some of this, but I guess that's the original width and height there. And so what would be nice is if you could just sort of bring it down, but 0.4, and you can see now they've sort of gotten smaller there. It looks like they've overlapped as well. Could be because I've got that selected. Oh yeah. So again, just sort of playing around with this a little bit. There we go, that's back to the original. And like I said, I guess I had clicked on some of these, little bit of overlap and so on. So I guess the question is, what do you do now that you've made it? So if we do close this up, I guess I have made this pattern here. So yeah, so now we're out of that. So we've created a pattern. We could actually get rid of this if we didn't need to. And there it is there. So if I took a shape, okay, so it's filled with this at the moment, but I could change the fill to that. little strong there, I think, but you get the idea. Would be a good question, and I'm not 100% sure. How could I sort of rotate that pattern as well? So let's just sort of see what we can do. So yeah, so if you want to go in and modify the shape as it says here, if you click on that show tile edge, you can see the original one, right? And then, oh, the scaling, sometimes there's a bit of a problem with the scaling. So if you go to Windows Transform Pattern Only, that would make sure that transform object only or transform pattern only, so or transform both. This will make sure that the pattern stays the same size, so that's often what you want to do. Like I said, if I wanted to fill that with an angle, I'm not 100% sure what I could do, but let's just go in here. So the trouble would be, let me just put the opacity back to 100%. If we've sort of made this and then I sort of scale it up now, no, okay, so it is, and you can see here, the pattern staying the same scale, which is what I want. But if I did go under Window Transform, let's just see here. There we are. So yeah, so transform object only. So that's why the pattern is staying the same. If I did both, for example, now what you'll see is the pattern gets bigger as well. So it depends on what you want, right? So that's where you can access that there. Transform object only, right? Just to see the difference. And then you get that. I'm not sure about the other one, transform pattern only. It seems to be doing the same as both. I'm not 100% sure what the difference is between those two, but definitely, you know, if you want to keep this the scale the same, right, you can do that. Just transform the object only. But I don't think there's anything more to say. Again, it would be sort of you playing around, trying to figure things out. What's this caution here? If you want to use the same pattern in another document, there's a difficult way of saving it and loading the pattern of the objects. However, if you just want to copy and paste an object that has the pattern in your document, the swatch pattern will appear in your swatches panel. You can even delete the object and the pattern will remain. So what it's just saying there is that there is a complex way of making this available across all of your projects. However, the easiest way is just to have it in one, copy this object into a new one. So if I did take this, Control C, and went into this one, so you can see the pattern isn't available. Don't believe that is not it. But if I do Control V, paste that one in, you can see that that pattern has appeared. So yeah, so if you've always got that pattern, you can use it later on in a different project. Just copy one of those objects in and you'll automatically have that pattern in there. All right, I think that's it for this one.